Come on and wake up. Listen to your heart now. See what's going on. We can make it together. We can find a way. Co-creations, new generations. You're a champion. You already won.
So what is switching roles? So switching roles is actually very fun. You can have a lot of fun with this. I think sometimes we tend to get stuck in our roles and our positions that we take on and who we think we are. And you can actually lighten up a little bit and you can do some role switching. So an example is my mother and I used to do this when we were first. I told a story about how we listened to Eckhart Tolle and we started saying, that's my story and I'm making it up, instead of that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Just we have these thoughts in our head and we treat each other based on the thoughts that we're making up. And once we let go of the idea that every thought I think is the absolute truth, and because I've said it, it must be true, even if I'm talking about you. Now, we make up things about ourselves, and then we really make up things about other people, and then we treat them as if the things we're making up about them are true. So this is a way you can kind of see how anybody can kind of take on any role. So with my mom, I remember the object of this is, if there's something that you're having a disagreement about, then what you do is you say, hey, let's switch roles. So you be me and I'll be you, and we'll argue I'll argue your point of view, and I'll argue your point of view as if you're saying it, and you'll argue my point of view as if I'm saying it. So it's really cool to do this, because then you find out, have you really heard what they're saying? Can you argue it? And the point of this is you take on their role and you argue it like adamantly, like there's no holds barred. Like normally I'd say, do some controlled fires, like separate this and take notes and listen, put on your elephant ears, or these other things that I would say, do it like this. But in this one, when you switch roles, you actually get to go for it, and you get to argue it wholeheartedly, because the point is that you want to win. You want to win arguing for their side, and they want to win arguing for your side. So that makes it can be very fun and very funny. And actually, I would love to see some people posting some videos doing this, where you're switching roles and arguing the other person's role. So I recall one time I had put a sign on the door outside my room. I don't remember what it was, something, maybe it was my 4-quadrant sign of what I was going to be doing that day or so. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, my mom said that she didn't like clutter in the hallway. She wanted like things to be clean and neat. She didn't want to see a sign on the door. So one of us said, oh, let's switch roles and argue each other's side, right? I said, okay, oh yeah, let's do that. So I took on my mom's role, and she took on my role, and I said, hey, can you take that off the door? Because I don't like clutter in the halls. I like clean hallways, so please take that down. And she immediately said, okay, no problem, I'll take it down. I said, wait a minute, whoa, hold on. So that's not how you do it. When you take on someone's side, you have to take on their side as if that is your side and you want to win, all right? That is the point of switching roles, that you are going to argue as they argued, and you're even going to make better points, and you're going to try to win for their side, not your own. Don't make a weak little argument, because that's stupid, it's not fun, and you're still arguing for your own other side. This is really about truly switching roles and arguing their point of view. And I think a lot of times what people find out when they do this is that when you start arguing their side, you realize, I don't really understand your side yet. I really don't know why you want that there. So then you actually, when you ask questions because you want to know when you eventually, come back. But what you can do is you switch roles, you argue their point of view, they argue your point of view, and then when questions come up about what it is, you can actually ask them, so wait, why do you want this down? Like, what really is your reason for this and that? So that way when you get it down, you can argue again, and then you can really try to win for their side. But don't go back to your argument. Just let this be fun. Switch roles. You could even, one of the things that works really good is to both take out your cameras and you can film each other. And then you have something to look at later. You know, did you really understand their point of view? Did they really understand yours? Were they arguing from your perspective? Were you arguing from their perspective? It can be really, really fun. Another thing about switching roles is you actually do have an opportunity to step into their point of view. And what's really good about this stay-at-home, shelter-in-place time is, like I said, it's like pressing pause. You have this time out. You have this time out to play. You're not caught up in, I got to get to work. I got to get this done. Da, 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 da. And some people are still doing that kind of stuff. But, you know, take a breath, chill a little bit, have a little fun with this, okay? So if you're usually the one who's always arguing to save money and don't spend money on this and you know, you're always the one who's saying, you know, we should save money, save money, save money, all right? And then your partner is always the one who's, well, I had to buy things for the home and I had to get this, and who's saying, we had to buy these things, we needed this was important, I wanted this, I wanted another pair of shoes, you know, or I wanted these golf clubs, or I wanted this fishing gear, whatever it is. If you're arguing over what you spend money on, right, then switch roles. And if you're the one who's always arguing to be frugal, start arguing that you need to buy things. You have to buy these things. They're very important to buy these things, right? Argue that perspective. And then your other person, who's usually wants to buy things, they have to argue why it's important to be frugal. So really take it on, really switch those roles. And this can be hilarious, actually, if you let it. If you don't get too serious, or you really do take on the other person's point of view. You know, what you might find is, wow, he really does understand where I'm coming from. That really was me. That really is what I say. You know, and the other thing that happens is sometimes you'll take on someone's voice, right? Like years ago, I dated someone who who didn't hear me when I was talking, and then mumbled when he was talking. So I always had to ask him to talk louder, because I couldn't understand what he was saying, and I always had to say, oh, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? And it got to be exhausting, right? So when you have something that you know someone acts a particular way, like one of the things, this person talks like I will actually take on the voice of someone else. So if we had switched roles, I would say, like that. We didn't do this, but I'm just saying as an example. Like in our heads, we hear what people are saying in a different way than they're actually saying it. Like I might be telling a story about something my mom said, and I'll go, and my boyfriend will say, your mom doesn't talk like that. But that's how I heard it in my head. That's how I'm sharing it. And then I laugh at myself. Actually, I have a bunch of puppets. I might do some communication with the puppets and show how people communicate that way. I think I'll do a little bit of that. Anyway, so what might happen while you're doing that is you actually see yourself from someone else's eyes, and you hear the voice of how they might hear you when you're acting a certain way. And so don't be offended by it. This is just an exercise that can be really fun. It can be really enlightening. If you've always done the same thing for years and all of a sudden you stepped over on the other side and did something back, maybe you're the one who always disciplines the kids. You're always the one who's the angry one and getting bad at them. Go over there and listen to what your mother said, right? And maybe the other one's always the one who says, oh, don't tell your dad. Here, have a little chocolate. Oh, be nice, right? Switch the roles. Like have some fun with it. Say, all right, honey, tonight you're going to be the disciplinarian and I'm going to be the nice one. So when the kids come in and they're sitting down and they're playing a game and you want them to come out and have dinner, instead of always being the one who goes, get out here and sit down, we're having dinner or whatever, have your wife be that one. And you can actually have her play you. So you can actually watch each other playing each other's roles, and the kids will be like, what the hell? But it's very, very freeing, and it's enlightening, and it's fun, and it helps you to realize that a lot of these roles that we're taking on are just things that we happen to be doing. It's not who we are. It's just what we kind of got in a pattern of doing. So switch roles, have some fun with it. Make a video of it, post it of yourselves, and you know what you learned from it, or what you saw in yourself, or you know what you're going to do from now on. Maybe you're going to have that person take on that role sometimes, and maybe you're going to take on the role sometimes. Maybe you realize you're not stuck in the way that you were being. Maybe you realize that you don't have to take it so seriously this way, that I am the one who always does this, and you are the one who always does that, and I can't stand that you do that, and I can't stand that you do that. Because when we do that to each other, we polarize ourselves away from each other, and we just get more and more stuck in our own way. So if we switch roles, we start having understanding for each other, we start realizing that anybody can play these roles at any time. We don't have to be this way. It's not who I am, it's just something I'm doing. Then you can lighten up on it a little bit, be less blaming, less projecting, and I'll do a little bit more of the disciplining, you do a little bit more of being the lovey-dovey one, you know, and then you don't get stuck in your ideas of each other. And it's a really, really beautiful thing to do. So that's switching roles. Okay, I'm Tia Turnbull. This is Keep It 100, emotionally safe, shelter in place, switching roles. Thank you for watching, and check me out on the next one by hitting the like, subscribing, and tapping the bell to see when the next one comes out. You're going to have fun sheltering in place with your family, bonding, connecting, understanding each other more, listening to each other more. It's going to be a great time. So until then, champion yourself and your family to be champions.